Guys, so I'm heading here now to the Brownstone Cemetery. I'm out of the town a little, out of the buzz of the town. So I'm now heading down to the cemetery. And I've walked, I actually walked at a path that is so difficult a little to walk. But the other road, I would have to be in a lot of traffic. So I'm heading now down this unpaved road, and I'm passing what I believe is an old club, according to a man who gave me direction. It's Brownstone. I've been in Brownstone before. But it was a long time ago. So this is an old club, according to the man. I wonder why they abandoned it. Even an abandoned car here also. This is not the front of the cemetery, the Brownstone Cemetery. This is actually more maybe the back or the side, I don't know. So I'm not gonna start reading yet. I'm not gonna read anything yet. What I'm gonna do is to try to see if I can find the front of the cemetery. I think that's very important in order to document this place properly. The Brownstone Cemetery. It came to my mind and I said, you know what, let me go and do it. And I'm gonna see how many graves I can document today. I'm gonna see if I can find the front of the cemetery. It's very important finding the front and then go in. I can hear a nearby church. Today is what? Today is Wednesday. I'm not sure, maybe this is the front. This could be the front. I think this could be the front of the cemetery. There's a gate right there. But maybe not. Let me go up here and see something. So I was down there, and that looked like the front. And then you have down there, and down there look like the front. There are gates off, and there's another gate way all the way down there. So you don't know which is actually the front of the cemetery. So what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna go down there. I'm gonna just go back here. You can know that this is an old cemetery. Look at the fencing wall. It's made up of stone. So it's made up of all stones. So you know it's an old cemetery. Man, there's a church nearby and this lady is singing She's singing, you know. My God delivers again. Not sure if you're hearing it. All right, so we're now in the Brownstone Cemetery. Let me start reading because I'm telling you, Brownstone is in St. Anne. And I'm all the way from St. Elizabeth. I had to take a taxi to Mandeville, and from Mandeville to Spalding, and from Spalding to Cave Valley, and from Cave Valley to Brownstone. So let me get down to some reading so I can get back in time. All right, let's find the history here in the Brownstone Cemetery. We're starting here with the grave of Gertrude Hall. It says, in loving memory of Gertrude Hall, born the 26th of November 1905, died the 11th of January 1970. This is the resting place of Gertrude Hall, 1970. That's 55 years ago. Exactly 55 years ago that she died. And beside Gertrude here, we have the grave of Ethelyn Mackay. That's Ethelyn, Ethlyn, who died on the 1st of July 1971. So Ethelyn died the year after Gertrude over there. Seems like I'm in the older section here of the cemetery. Charles Melville. So this is the grave of Charles Melville Rowbotham. Rowbotham. Charles Melville Rowbotham. And Charles died in January 1983. Is that 83 or 63? I don't know. It looked like 83. I'll put it up on the screen. He was born the first... No. He was born in 1895. It's a difficult name to pronounce. This is the resting place of Asper Antonio. Died December 20, 1961. Asper Antonio. Right, this is the grave of Annie Green. That's Annie A. Green. She died age 85. And they say at rest. So they did not put her date of death or anything. It just say Annie A. Green, age 85, at rest. Like nobody comes and visit Annie anymore. Obviously not. Beside Annie here, this person was all tiled up, so they put some effort in tiling it up. Let's see what this one says. Says, in loving memory of our mother, Irene Justin, died the 17th of December, 1957. You know what they said? In loving memory of our mother, Irene M. Justin. And Irene died the 17th of December, 1957. So those people who say our mother, they probably died out themselves. And that's why Irene Justin here is not getting any visit. Because everybody who said our mother, 1957 until now, that's a long time. So they themselves probably have died out also. I'm looking here on this all grilled around grave. There are 3 graves in there. 3 graves, and they're all covered in bush or vines or whatever you want to call it. But all of them seem to have headstones. So I'm going to try to go over and document them. Alright, so I'm inside here. I didn't bring anything. I don't know why I'm not learning from my past experience to bring something to wash my hands and to scrape away the graves. Let me pause. Alright, so I'm able to brush this away, and it says, in loving memory of Emily Estella Logan, born August 31, 1915, died May 20, 2010. Rest in peace, beloved one. So this is the grave of Emily Estella Logan. She lived long. She lived until she was almost 100. And that's 2010 that she died. That means it's not too long ago. I wonder why the family don't come and clean this place up. And beside Estella, we have here, I'm gonna pause again to clean up and then record again. Alright, so beside Emily Estella Logan, we have Winford Alexander Logan, died January 28, 1988. So this could have been the husband of Emily over there, Winford Alexander Logan. Now let's see who else is buried here. The third individual buried inside this grilled up area. Let me pause again. Alright, this says, in fragrant memory of my beloved wife, Viola Eunice Logan, who departed this life the 11th of March, 1939. In fragrant memory of my beloved wife. So this is Viola Eunice Logan, This is Winford Alexander Logan, who the husband, and this is Emily Estella Logan. We're at the resting place here of Sybil Louise, maybe Ingram. I think that's Ingram. Yeah. Died the November 26th. I'm gonna say it my way. November 26th, 1967. She died in 1967. Okay, guys, this is my kerchief. My kerchief I use wipe my face, and I just literally turned it into something I use to clean graves. There's another Ingram here, buried here. It's difficult to read. I'm not gonna leave that alone. Here we are at the grave of Mary Ella Fenn. Mary Ella Fenn of Lund Grove, VT. What stand for VT? This is the USA. So Lund Grove VT USA. She was born in 1850 and she died in 1936. Mary Ella Fenn. This is the tomb of Blanche Jeffrey Smith. Say, in loving memory of Blanche Jeffrey Smith, who died the 2nd of December 1947, age 69. Beside Blanche, this is the grave of Una Wilson. Loving memory of Una Wilson. She died, okay, she was born in 1880. Can't make that out. Somebody accidentally got some cement on it. But she was born in 1880 and she died, what's that, the 4th of the 8th or the 8th of the 4th, 1973. So 1880 till 1973, Una Wilson. And I'm going out here, look at this one. Takes money to build this type of headstone, you know. Maybe this is her husband. Say, in loving memory of Wilbert Edward Wilson, MD. So that's medical doctor, right? Born the 2nd of May, 1866. Died the 7th of February, 1934. So I believe that Wilbert Edward Wilson was the husband of Una. They're buried beside each other. So it's likely that is the case. The breeze is very strong up here. There's some heavy breeze blowing across the island. I'm here at the grave of May Philip Barnes. It says, precious to the memories of May Phillips Barnes, May 5, 1916 to June 20, 2008. Let me see who's beside me. Gotta do a lot of cleanup here now. So I cleaned this up, and this seems to be the husband of May. It says Francis Kenneth Barnes, December 3, 1911 to May 12, 1986. And they're buried very close to each other. So this appears to be the husband of May Phillips Barnes, and his name is Francis Kenneth Barnes. So obviously I believe they're husband and wife. There is a grave over here. Seems a little difficult to read, but it's standing up. Alright, so I cleared this away. It says, in loving memory of Angelina Sowley, 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 born the 22nd of October, 1861, died the 13th of November, 1940. So 1861 to 1940 for Angelina Sowley. All right, let's go and explore some more resting place here at Brownstone Cemetery. At the resting place of Lucille Maud Harrison, born November 29, 1921, and she died June 12, 2017. Almost 100 for Lucille Maud Harrison. Almost 100. Is this a grave? A very narrow. It looks like a grave. This is also a grave. There's nothing on it. Here is a modern grave. This is the grave of Kevoy Kenrick Lawrence, and he was called Chemist. So it say, in loving memory of our dear father, son, brother, uncle, and husband, Kevoy Kenrick Lawrence, Chemist. Sunrise October 30, 1995 to sunset July 8, 2019. So that's not too long ago that Kevoy died. He was young. 1995 to 2019. He was 23. Is that correct? Or 24? Somewhere in that line. And this is a photograph of him. You were young, Kevoy, very young. You know, this should not have been your place as yet. But, you know, That's what death does. The grave of Kevoy. And I'm looking here at this grave and I'm like, wow, such a nice photograph of the lady. Okay, so let me pull that up. It says, in loving memory of Margaret Horton, born the March 21, 1955, died July 27, 2017. The grave here of Margaret Horton. Such a nice photograph. You know, she looked like somebody who work at JMMB. You know, I don't know. But people who work at those kind of places, they kind of look like that. You know, the grave of... It's a nice grave here they put up of her with her photograph. Not sure what this place was. This little building I'm passing here. There's a big mango tree at the back of this small building. Maybe it was a small chapel where people used to have the funeral for those who don't go to a church. Big mango tree here. This is the resting place of Miss Irene W. Riley, born September 25, 1891, died August 17, 1952. Well, I'm sure this grave was not tiled back in 1952, right? I started up there and I want to go back up there before I go down there. So let me go back up here. In loving memory of Granville Cunningham. Granville Cunningham, aka Glennie. Sunrise September 15, 1944 to sunset September 9, 2013. Okay, Glennie. Granville Cunningham, Glennie. This is Glennie's resting place, man. Look at these. I remember in Black River I saw some of these in the cemetery. Lovely. They used to make castor oil. In loving memory of our dear mother, Emma Johnson, died September 1935, aged maybe 53. That's Emma Johnson. And beside Emma, it says, in loving memory of our dear father, Alexander Johnson, died aged, I can't make out that age, but he was 72 years old and he died in August. I'm not sure what age that is. I'm not sure what year he died, but he was 72-year-old Alexander Johnson. Could be the husband of Emma Johnson over there. It could be the husband of Emma Johnson over there. I saw this tomb all grilled around, it says, in loving memory of Samuel Jonathan Thompson, who died on the 10th of July, 1937. So Samuel Jonathan Thompson, as Thompson without a P, he died July 10, 1937. This is the grave of Alfred Alexander Halsall. That's Halsall. Halsall. So that's Alfred Alexander Halsall, who was called to rest 11th of March 1945. I'm gonna assume this is his wife, Catherine, maybe Josephine Halsall, and she died the 5th of January 1948. That's 3 years after Alfred. They could be husband and wife here. They could be husband and wife. Charles G. Blake. Charles G. Blake. Charles died on the 27th of January, 1948. I'm here at the tomb of Christiana Brown. It says, in loving memory of a devoted mother, Christiana Brown, who departed this life on the 11th of June, 1951. They gave her a nice headstone, an expensive headstone. Imogen Dyer died the 25th of April 1962 at age 75. Joseph Dyer, this is the grave of Joseph Dyer, died May 7, 1972, age 81. He could have been the husband of Imogen over there. This is in a grilled up area. This is the grave of Elma Nita. Born April 11, 1934. Died January 25, 1965. Constance Palmer died the 22nd of July, 1977. Constance Palmer. Beside Constance, you have Albert Egbert Palmer. Died the 12th of December, 1985. Could be husband and wife. This could be the husband, Albert, and the wife, Constance. Both of them are Palmer. And there's another Palmer here also. Say, in loving memory of William E. Palmer, born the 28th of the 8th, 1927, and died the 16th of the 3, 1999. Maybe William was the son, you know. And here we have the grave of Adrian Adrian Thelwell. He died, I can't make that out, maybe 1900. No, he was born in 1900 and died in something like 96. They grilled around his grave in a nice and cute look away and even put a padlock on it. Not sure why you put a padlock on it. It's not that tall. Ah, Wilbert Walker. Not sure. That's Wilbert Walker. In loving memory of Ines Antonio. Did I say that name already? Ines Antonio. I remember saying an Antonio, but I don't remember. Died August 29, 1972. Here's a grave grilled around. This says Mrs. Floris M. Colburn Nee Johnson. So she was born Floris Johnson. Then she married a Colburn. And she died on the 9th of April, 1977. And beside her, in fact, it's not just beside her, they built the grave that touch each other. So maybe this is her mother, Adele Joseph Johnson. So Joseph, it could be a man then. Yeah, no, it's a woman because they say Aunt Sweet. So Adele Joseph Johnson, Aunt Sweet, 1909 to 2002. Not sure the relation there. This is the grave of Edna Earl Letham Osborne. In simple terms, Edna Osborne, beloved grandmother, mother, and wife, born November 9, 1932, died September 7, 2019. There's a photograph of her there. Well, you would call that an image of her. I won't be able to read all the graves here due to the time that I have to get back to St. Elizabeth. And there are many graves. So I'm going to read as much as I can. This is the grave of Cleveland A. Palmer, who departed this life on the 14th of April, 1976, age 35. Well, Cleveland, you were a young man, age 35, in 1976 when you died. Imagine the amount of people who were here in 1976 at Cleveland's funeral. Ronald Goffey, born July 20, 1913, died June 12, 1975. There are some older graves up here. I'm gonna pass over many of them. Mistress Lydia Brown, who departed this life on the 27th of the 5th, 1979. Mrs. Lydia Brown. 1979. Wow, far back days that is, right? Oh, Mary Miller. I see your name from afar, Mary. This is Mary Miller. Sunrise November 15, 1932 to sunset July 2, 2019. All right, Mary Miller. And beside him we have Robert Miller. Robert Miller. Born the 9th of the 8th, 1930. Died the 23rd of the 3rd, 1982. Robert could have been the husband of Mary. I think so. I'm assuming that, and I believe that is the case. Frank Weston, 9 of the 9, 1927 to the 22 of the 6th, 1982, Frank Weston. The breeze is getting really strong, I'm telling you. This is the grave of Ilaline Jemima Sue Wright. This is a photograph of her. Ilaline Jemima Sue Wright. November 9, 1914 to July 31, 2000. And she was called Miss Dearest. Miss Dearest. I'm up into the corner right here. Someone say, in loving memory of our dear father and husband, William Bertram. Died April 2, 1971. William Bertram. William Bertram. All right. I'm gonna go down there and let me see if I can, who I can read all the way down there. Evelyn Retty. July 7, 1886 to April 6, 1972. Evelyn Retty. In loving memory of Lawford George Halsall, right? Born January 29, 1909. Died January 19, 1972. He's a January guy, born in January, died in January. Lawford George Halsall. I hope I pronounced that name good. This is the grave of Muriel Maud Brown, born August 6, 1894, died August 10, 1980. 1894 to 1980. In, in loving memory of a dear father, son, and brother, Hope Roosevelt Gooden, I would say Gooden, born the 4th of August 1943, died the 18th of December 1981. Hope Roosevelt Gooden. This is the tomb of Eleanora Gabidon. Eleanora Gabidon, 1902 to 1976. Adeline McFarlane Rattray, died December 28, 1961 at age 94. I kind of noticed that when I tend to see dogs in cemetery. I don't know why this dog is, he doesn't know me, but he comes to greet me. I will guess this one is a good dog. Remember in Pie River, I was barked at horribly by a dog. But this one came by and's like, hey man, what's up? And then he's gone. Irene Winifred Ashman, born June 8, 1904, died March 16, 1983. When you died, Irene Winifred Ashman, I was just a little baby in hand. Little baby in hand, not even start to creep yet or anything. Spencer Campbell died April 4, 1978. I love the name Spencer. I love the name Spencer. It's a Christian name and a surname. Edith Campbell, and that's Edyth. Edith Campbell died July 7, 1982. This is the tomb of Francis Campbell. This is the tomb of Gladys M. Johnson, died May 22, 1983. Look at this. It's all grilled around. You can see they came here not too long ago and gave this place some work. This says in loving memory of Gwendolyn Edwards, 1915 to 1984. Devoted wife, mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, and mother-in-law, sadly missed by all, always in our hearts. And this is the tomb of John George Edwards, 1917 to 2008. Devoted husband, father, grandfather, great-grandfather, and father-in-law. He must have been a very nice father-in-law, because father-in-law relationships hardly go well these days, you know. This is the tomb of Iris Brown, died July 5, 1986. Iris Brown. This is a big broad tomb, but there's nothing on it. Nothing on these here. Here are two tombs up here. Inez Edwards, the 20th of the 4th, 1910 to the 6th of the 11th, 1999. And beside him we have the grave of... Alright, so I'll get around the other side to read it. This is the grave of Elsie Bennett, the 27th of the 9th, 1914 to the 24th of the 1, 2000. And over here is Inez Edwards. The both of them are buried together in this grilled up section here. This grave was placed, this person was buried not too long ago. You can see one wreath on it, and there is a funeral program beside it. Let me see if there's a picture on it. So maybe this is the grave of Joyce Melrose Guscott Miller. She was born on August 24, 1938, died on February 22, 2025. Joyce Melrose Miller. So I'm assuming this is her grave here with this nice flower, nice wreath on it. Says, in loving memory of Rose G. McGiff. Alright, I don't want to mess up this last name, but there it is. November 17, 1912 to June 10, 2014. And this is Sidney George McKeith, the last name there. The 17th of the 2000. He was born the 17th of the 1910, and died the 24th of the 1993. So I'm gonna assume these are husband and wife, Rose and Sydney. Husband and wife, right? In this grilled around place here, we have the resting place of Dorothy Victoria Lawrence, born March 6, 1928, died November 10, 1994. I'm not sure if somebody's buried beside her, but it appears as if this is a grave. Alright. There's a nice image of this lady here, and it says, in loving memory of Elaine Himmans, 1939 until 2021. I don't know, but I stood on here and it felt as if it was gonna collapse. I had to jump off. So I don't know. Maybe Miss Himmans, your grave will fall in soon. Sylvia G. Thompson, the 31 of the 7, 1937, to the 2 of the 7, 2013. And beside her is the grave of George Winnington Thompson, 1910 to 2011. I believe they're husband and wife. Husband, George, wife, Sylvia. Matthew Victor Watkins. There's a picture here of him. He's all smiling. All right, Matthew. March 4, 1945 to April 23, 2021. Over here is the grave of Samuel Sawyers, born June 22, 1922, and died December 28, 2011. Samuel Sawyers. So have you seen your family member or friend's grave so far? I want you to leave a comment because that's how you communicate with me. We don't necessarily say texting or WhatsApping, you know. Edwin B. Park, Sybil Joy Campbell, Mama, 1917 to 2017. She was 100 years old. Sybil Joy Campbell, 100 years old. That's nice. In loving memory of dear parents, the Mullins. So you'd have Evelyn May Mullins, 1931 to 2016, and then her husband, Sidney Austin Mullins, 1936 to January 2015. So she was born 1931, he was born 1936. He died 2015, the same year my father died, and she died 2016. So they died 1 year after the other. They must be buried on top of each other. I don't know. Is it just one grave? Daisy Berlina Walker, 1928 to 2017. And I believe this is her husband, Cecil George Walker, 1919 to 2008. Buried here inside this grilled up area. This is the resting place of Ina Josephine Edwards, born 1923, departed 2003. Ina Josephine Edwards. This is the resting place of Oswald Reed, called Ozzy, March 5, 1944 to September 9, 2018. And this is his photograph there. Love the gray hair, Mr. Ozzy. Oswald Reed. Ah, love this woman's photograph. Hold on, hold on. Delrose Mott, September 13, 1944 to February 2, 2007. I love her photograph. She looks really nice. So she was a really nice lady. Delrose Mott. Inside this grilled up area, you can obviously see the people still come here and they're beautifying it, keeping it beautiful. This is the resting place of Imogen Biggs. August 14, 1922 to May 2nd, 2024. So she died last year, Imogen. And beside Imogen is Lloyd Wilson. August 1, 1932 to March 18, 1998. So this is John Lloyd Wilson. Beautiful. They have something over there prepared. I guess that's for two other persons. Maybe they're gonna be cremated. So they already have it built there. Beautiful headstone, beautiful grilled up area. They're taking good care of it. There are two graves here. You probably would not have known anything, but they put a headstone. It belongs to Mildred Mott, 1915 to 2004, and James Mott, 1905 to 1999. Jasper William Campbell. Jaspy. So he was called Jaspy. He was born the 25th of the 12th, 1911, and he died the 20th of the 8th, 2003. Jaspy. Nice name. Ina Rose Cuff, August 1, 1935 to March 17, 2013. Ina Rose Cuff. I don't know if you can hear that church, but I'm telling you, the music is hot over there. Yeah, that church over there. That one. This is the grave of Mr. Melbourne Moncrief, 1939 to 2011. This is the resting place of Cecil Brown, 15 of the 7, 1944 to the 3 of the 11, 2003. Cecil Brown. This is the resting place of Lloyd George MacDonald. Lloyd George MacDonald, born July 11, 1906, and died November 19, 2003. 1906 to 2003. That's a long life. Lloyd George MacDonald. Roslyn Richards, 1916 to 2003, is said sadly missed by children and grandchildren. This angel is resting her palms under her right chin. This is the resting place of Elizabeth Murray. She was born in 1887 and she died in 1974. Look at this grave. It's all leaned over. Maybe the grave broke in and it began leaning over. Oh my God, look at my feet. Look at this. These are all the things from off that. Those things you see, they come off on my feet. I'm gonna clean up my jeans when I'm finished. Gladys Richards Witter. Gladys Richards Witter, 1928 to 2013. Blue and white headstone, lovely. In loving memory of our beloved mother and father, what's that? Milda Maud Gibbidon, 1911 to 2015, and Samuel Augustus, 1904 to 1993. So the both of them were Gabidon. So this is the grave pretty much of Melda and Samuel Gabidon. I'm not sure, they must have buried them on top of each other. Not sure what's happening here. This is the grave of Mabel Walker, December 5, 1900 to April 3, 2002. Mabel Walker. This is the grave of Leonard Vincent Goodall, October 27, 1908 to November 11, 1977. Leonard Vincent Goodall. I love this type of headstones. DeWitt Granville Logan. Beloved husband, father, grandfather, July 7, 1920 to November 22, 1999. And this must be his wife, Joyce Isabel Logan, 1930 to 2002. I think that's the wife and that's the husband. Look at the grave of these two Harris. Say, in loving memory of Thelma E. Harris, 1932 to 2014. This gravestone look older than 2014, so this must cost a lot in 2014. And Newton A. Harris, 1916 to 1985. So Newton, the husband, died in 1985, and Thelma, the wife, lived until 2014. They both got the same type of headstone. Expensive headstones. All right. This is the tomb of Olive J. Paris. Died the 10th of September 1960, age 85. Olive J. Paris. Oh. Hi. Shh. Hello. Got this dog. I lift up my head and then there's this dog right there beside me. There it is. Don't know whose dog this is. Very friendly dog, thankfully. I just did not see it. I lift up my head and then bam, there's the dog. Susan Edwards, friend of the Andersons and adopted mother of Iris. Died on the 3rd of May, 1942. Susan Edwards. My dearest loved husband, Jeffrey Purchase. That's Jeffrey, right? Jeffrey Purchase. Passed on the 4th of July, 1964, age 57. And they say, my dearest husband. And that's 1964. This is the resting place of Jeffrey Brown. He was called Scratchy. So Jeffrey Brown called Scratchy. Says sunrise October 11, 1964 to sunset July 25, 2018. Scratchy. Althea Bailey. Althea Bailey, September 9, 1954 to December 2, 2018. And there's a picture of her here. Althea Bailey. At the foot of Althea Bailey, we have Codval L. Thompson, or Thompson. September 2, 1945 to December 15, 2017. And this is his photograph here. 1945 to 2017 for Codval Thompson. This is the resting place of Alice Black. February 23, 1932 to March 30, 2015. And that's a picture of her, Alice Black. This is the resting place of Latoya Lauren Jones. It says, in loving memory of a dear daughter, mother, sister, aunt, and friend. Born September 11, 1977, died March 23, 2019. And that's a photograph of her, Latoya Lauren Jones. 1977 to 2019. Still a young woman. Was still a young woman. I'm assuming that this was a bathroom, right? Oh yes, it was. This was a bathroom. See, they have good concepts in mind. It's all ruined now. Brownstone Cemetery bathroom. You have a public cemetery and then you have a bathroom. I'm telling you, there are going to be individuals who start to use it as their personal bathroom, like individuals who live nearby. And homeless individuals. And then there are the persons who just vandalize, you know. Evelyn Hall, 1940 to 2022. Evelyn Hall. She's buried near to the bathroom, the old bathroom. Just say the bathroom because there's no other. Such a nice, lovely grave here. Well tiled up. Looking good. The tiler did an excellent job. Excellent job. I don't think Joshua could do it any more better. I'm referring to Joshua on TikTok, you know. Enough of you know. So we have Martin Biles. Martin Biles. 1942 to 2023. Not too long ago for Martin Biles. Lovely grave here. So I climbed over the wall to a different section here. I'm passing the grave here of Agrippina Codner. Died the 12th of July 1974, age 71. Agrippina. What was your parents thinking, giving your name so hard to spell? This is a grave of Telfa. Okay, this is a grave here. This is the grave of Copper Andre O'Neill Ledinard. Is that Ledinard? AKA Copper. The 4 of the 4, 1992 to the 20 of the 4, that's the 20 of April 1919. He was called Copper. Again, we're looking at the old bathroom here at Brownstone Cemetery, public cemetery. The breeze is really cool now, very cool. The church over there is hotter than hot. I'm enjoying the church service while I'm strolling through the graveyard here. Somebody have a picture here of their grandma. What's the name? Beatrice maybe it's Modville or Moncrief. That's grandma there. Hello. This is the grave of Michael James. Michael James, and they have English in back. Maybe it was called English. Was born in 1937, died in 2016. Michael James. Look at these. What does it say? I'm not sure. Someone's gonna go here. Maybe it's reserved. We're here at the resting place of Noel Percival Thompson, Sir T. November 24, 1922 to September 7, 2022. He was almost 100 years old. He was getting there. But as they would say, the Lord says it's time for you to come home. Two beautiful graves here. This is the grave of Dr. Geneva Georgilla Anderson Thompson. She was born December 29, 1951, and she died December 9, 2022. She's there looking as if she was at a graduation. So she's Dr. Geneva Thompson. So it's an educated woman, you know. And beside her is Kenute, that's Kenute Anderson, who was called Bull. Sunrise April 29, 1958. And he died on January 13, 2023. That's the year after Dr. Geneva. So they might have been brother and sisters because his last name is Anderson and her name before marriage was Anderson. So they might have been brother and sisters. I don't think that's husband and wife, but who knows? Oh, this is a very young guy. This is a very young guy. Very young guy here. It says, in loving memory of Chevon Jordan Allen, September 15, 1998 to October 13, 2023. So, wow, he was like about 24 years old. And there is his photograph. Chevon Jordan Allen. Young guy. Very good looking also. I'm gonna go inside here. Oh, they had rooms for. Let me go inside and read this one. So I'm on the inside, and this one says Enid Davidson Chang, 1928 to 2004. And this is, I'm not sure what the first name is, but it's also a Chang. I can't figure out that font. It could be Irvin or it could be Ernin, but it's a Chang. They made space to put some photographs, but nothing, they are not there. He's described as devoted husband, father, grandfather, brother, and friend. So I'm inside of this grilled up area, and I'm seeing this photograph of this man here. A photograph of this man. It says, beloved husband and father, Baldwin Dimple Core, 1939 to 2010. Remembered for your strength, sense of humor, and love. Baldwin Core. It was called Dimple. You can see that he was a well-respected man, you know. Here is a grave that's all grilled around and it's painted in black and white. So let me enter. Oh, it's the grave of two individuals. Louis Ernest Redway and Monica Adassa Redway. He was called Father Lou, she was called Mother Lou. He was born 1919 and died 2003. And she was born 1925 and died 2023. And this is their photograph here. Father Lou and Mother Lou. And they have a lovely grave grilled around. That's how it usually look in the beginning. Come back 100 years. This is the resting place of Isaac Gordon. It say, in loving memory of a dear father and grandfather, born August 1925, died September 2003. Isaac Gordon. Beside him is this lady here, Gwendolyn Williams, 1943 to 2003, and Seabert Williams, 1943 to 2012. Two individuals buried in here. I'm gonna go over this section. Because I see some headstone that looks like up at Dovecot. Over this section, I see some graves like just the headstone alone. Here we have Linda Amanda Walker, January 7, 1915 to January 20, 1998. Maybe this is the Catholic section, as a lady told me so earlier on up at the St. Mark's Catholic Church. I went there to do a tour of the church, but was told I need to get permission from the committee. But she did say they have a section in this cemetery for the Catholic Church. It says, in loving memory of Carlton Allen, March 10, 1934 to March 17, 2012. And that's a picture of him there. Carlton Allen. This is the resting place of Albert Robb. That's Albert Robb. 1938 to 2006. And that's a photograph of him there. Albert Robb. In loving memory of Lesma Allen. That's her photograph there. Lesma Allen, born February 1, 1939, died May 31, 2009. Lesma Allen. Seemed like she was a very nice lady. You know, her smile on her face. Rest in peace, Miss Allen. You see all over there? There are graves over there. This big bush that you're looking at, this is also part of the graveyard. And it's all overgrown. And there are graves over there. There's one, there's others over there. All overgrown. Here we're looking at a nice looking girl. Isn't she beautiful, nice looking black woman? Her name is hold on. Her name is Janita Campbell Clark. February 3, 1959 to April 1, 2004. Love that photograph. So 1959 to 2004, she was in her 40s. She was about 45 years old when she died. It's a huge cemetery, but I can't go over there because of the bush. Can't. So I'm gonna go back up there, and then I am going to go back down to the other side where I came in from. That's the part that I came in from. That's where I'm gonna go. I'm a little over into this bushy part. That's the part that I can go. I see the grave of Solomon Peart. No, Peart. I think it's Peart. Solomon Peart, 1911 to 1992. Lovely headstone there, Solomon Peart. All right, down into the bush. And the bushes, the bushes, the bushes. There's a grave here. There's a grave there. But I'm not gonna brush away a lot of graves today. This is the grave of Adele Pearl Watson, 1919 to 1991. And that's a photograph of her there. Adele Pearl Watson. There are graves in that bush, but I'm not going in there. Mrs. Adassa. Mrs. Adassa March Anderson. She was born in 1938 and she died on December 9, 1988. Clarence Claude Clark. That's Clarence Claude Clark, 1936 to 1995. These look like the Mapen. They build these. That's the way they build these now. Like they build grave like this in Mapen Cemetery. They're tall. This is the grave of Evelyn Robb Brown. There's a picture of her, but it's not that clear. She was born in 1951. She died July 5, 2021. This is the grave of Raymond Davidson, May 1, 1948. May 1, 1948 to sunset May 31, 2021. This is the resting place of Andre Lorenzo Smith. He was born October 14, 1988, died June 13, 2020. And they have an image here of Andre. The grave of, this is the resting place of Kenneth Hemmings, 1937 to 2022. Over there, Marjorie Smith, 1943 to 2019. Nervin Johnson, December 23, 1959 to September 1, 2022. Nervin Johnson. Oh, there's some graves here that... Okay, there's 3 graves here. So there's no burial yet. Hyacinth Scarf, February 7, 1951 to May 3, 2016. This is the resting place of Clifford Lowers. That's Clifford Lowers. February 24, 1938 to May 5, 2018. Caleb Grant, 1947 to 2016. Caleb Grant. Underneath this tree, we find the grave of Victoria Christie. October 4, 1913 to June 19, 1985. There's a picture of this man here. He's Reuben Marston. That's Reuben Marston. 1942 to 2016. It's Reuben. Nice photograph of you here, Reuben. There's a grave here. Beside it, I see the grave of a young man, a very young guy. Is Nicholas Mills. Nicholas Mills. In loving memory of a beloved son, brother, and father, Nicholas Mills Cage. So they used to call him Cage. Born February 14, 1983. Died April 6, 2018. Nicholas Cage. He died young. So there are graves, a lot of graves here. But as I said earlier on, I won't be able to read all of them. So I'm going to be selective as I go along, as I want to wrap up to be able to get back to St. Elizabeth. You know, from afar, I see this man's picture, and his smile is so captivating. You know a nice guy's smile. Look at this smile. You know? So it's in loving memory of Peter Yap Hufat. September 2, 1960 to February 24, 2001. Peter Hoofat. This is the grave of this lady here. Her name is Luna Elizabeth Black. She was born in 1943 and she died in 2018. Luna Elizabeth Black. Look at all these graves. So many graves. I'm doing a story on somebody currently, and I'm wondering if he is buried here or he was buried here. So I'm looking out for his name. William Barnett. William Barnett died October 18, 1974. William Barnett. Percival Cole. Percival Cole died on August 14, 1976. I am at the resting place here of Carl Livingston Blake. That's Carl Livingston Blake, 1952 to 2019. This is the resting place of Hyacinth Brown. She was called Mama. 1952 to 2023. Here is the grave of a young guy. There's a photo of him. It says Ricardo James O'Neill. February 14, 1983 to February 25, 2019. Ricardo James O'Neill. There's a picture of him there. All right, let me keep going down and be selective as I read some tombs here. This is the grave of George Hogarth. He was called Bossy. Blanche Gordon Green. There's a picture of her there. She born 1936 and she died 2016. Blanche Gordon Green. I'm at the grave of this young woman here. You can see her photograph here. Her name is Hildegarde Rosalie Kelly. She was called Rose. 1967 to 2016. Okay. I might not pronounce her first name that correctly. They called her Rose. We're looking here at the grave of Gwendolyn Hall, 12 of the 6th, 1930 to the 29 of the 3, 2011. Gwendolyn Hall. And her grave is really down here. And then up here we have Franklin Brown. So that is her picture there, Franklin Brown. April 10, 1950 to May 5, 2021. Here we have this man here, Ignos Bugsy. Let me see what that surname is. Garrick. March 16, 1942. That's when he died. Must be 1940. I don't see anything else. The picture doesn't look like a picture from the 1940s. So that's Bugsy. Bugsy. I see. And beside him we have here the grave of this lady here, Yvonne Clark. Yvonne Clark, April 29, 1956 to April 5, 2012. Yvonne Clark. Here we have what appears to be a husband and wife. First, let's look at the husband. This is the resting place of Cleveland Luther Hatcher. Sunrise July 8, 1928. Sunset July 7, 2010. So he died one day before his birthday celebration in 2010. And this is his wife, Gloria Pearl Hatcher. Gloria Pearl Hatcher. December 4, 1933 to April 27, 2022. So she lived some 12 years after her husband. And now the both of them are here in Brownstone Cemetery. All the way up here, we have the resting place of Marvalyn Anderson Higgins, and they called her Sandra. 1971 to August 12, 2016. And beside Sandra is the grave of what's that? Lindor Anderson Campbell. I love the hairstyle. Reminds me of Madam C.J. Walker. Many of you must have heard about Madam C.J. Walker. Lovely hairstyle. She was born 1959 and she died August 12, 2016. Hold on. The both of them died on the same day. Yes, the both of them died on the same day. Sandra here died August 12, 2016, and Miss Campbell here, she died August 12, 2016. So could it have been some kind of tragedy, like an accident or something like that? So the both of them are here beside each other, and they're close up beside each other. They died on the same day. Oh, look at this smile she's giving here. What a smile. This is Camille Williams, June 28, 1979 to July 12, 2015. Camille Williams. I believe these are husband and wife. If I can pronounce the last name. Here we have, say, in loving memory of Aspinall Hawthorne. He was called Bob. Husband, father, uncle, granddad, and grandfather. Sunrise January 29, 1935. Sunset February 1, 2006. And beside him here is his wife. In loving memory of Sybil Hawthorne, she was called Jean. Wife, mother, auntie, nana, and godmother. Sunrise December 28, 1939 to sunset September 16, 2017. So she lived some, I would say, 11 years after her husband. You know, after her husband over there. And now they are together in death. I'm at the resting place of Ruby Wollaston Brown. She was born July 26, 1935, and she died on July 23, 2005. And there's a picture of her there, Ruby Wollaston Brown. This is the resting place of Angela Matthews McLean. March 12, 1965 to December 20, 2005. They designed her grave to look like, I can't figure that out, but it's different from the others I'm looking at here. Wow, so it's actually after 3 now in the evening. I didn't know that they do double vault up here until I take a good look at this and realize they have buried somebody there called, his name is Carl Smith. Right there you can see his funeral program. Yeah, so there are double vault here. All these people are buried there, then they're gonna bury it on top of them. Someone is buried there, obviously. Alright, guys, this has been my tour of Brownstone Public Cemetery. here in Brownstown, St. Anne. And such an interesting tour, you know, learning about these different people. Never met them in life, but you have a chance to document their resting places. I hope you have seen somebody's grave, the grave of somebody you knew. Leave your comment in the comment section. Tell me what you think of this tour, or what you think of the grave that I've shown. Very interesting here. So until then, guys, I want to say peace out, and I see you again in another interesting video like this.